Okay, so are you ready to like really dive deep today?
Oh, I'm so ready. Let's do it.
All right, because today we're looking at this piece called 10 Personality Traits to Eradicate Immediately If You Are Unsatisfied with Mediocrity.
Whoa.
Right.
That's a title.
I know. And it's just this list, like no author, no context, just straight to these 10 traits.
So no pressure or anything.
Yeah.
10 things to immediately eradicate.
Yeah. So that's why you're here. Right. To help us break this down.
Absolutely. I'm happy to help unpack this for everybody.
Awesome. So let's jump right into it. This first one, satisfaction with being right over finding truth.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously everyone wants to be right,
Sure. Yeah.
but what's the deeper issue here?
Okay, so think about it this way. Remember when we were in that new city last month and we got completely lost?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And we were arguing about which way to go?
And I was so sure I was right.
You were so convinced. But we spent like an hour walking in circles because we were so focused on proving each other wrong that we missed those giant neon signs that were right there pointing us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is getting at. When you are so attached to being right, you might miss the actual truth.
Wow. Yeah.
And listener, think about it. Have you ever been in that situation where being right cost you more than it was worth?
Ooh, yeah, for sure. Like when I argue with my partner about the dishes and then suddenly it's not about the dishes anymore.
Right?
It's about who is right.
Exactly. And that kind of leads us into the next trait, which is being more attached to truth than usefulness. So truth is great, but what if even facts can be unhelpful?
Is this like those random fun facts you see online that are interesting but like don't really do anything for you?
Exactly. I mean, sure, it's true that a shrimp's heart is in its head, but like, does that actually help you in your daily life? Does that help you pay your bills?
Nope.
Connect with your loved ones? Probably not. So
Yeah.
what information actually serves you?
That's a really good question. Okay, I'm ready for number 3 because this one is so relatable.
Okay, what is it?
Seeking validation for ideas instead of materializing them.
Ooh.
I feel so seen right now.
I think we all have that drawer
Yeah.
full of ideas.
Exactly.
Like half-written stories, business plans.
That workout routine you're going to start.
Yes. But it's so easy to get stuck seeking approval instead of actually doing the work.
Oh, for sure.
You know what separates the dreamers from the doers?
What's that?
Action.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one really makes you think.
By lay it on me.
When your tribe disagrees with your strongly held beliefs, do you cave?
Well, that is a good one.
Right.
Because I think it's so natural to want to fit in,
Oh, totally.
especially with people you care about.
Absolutely.
But if you look at history, there are so many examples of what happens when groupthink goes wrong.
Oh,
And no one is brave enough to challenge the status quo.
yikes.
So do you have the courage to stand by your convictions even when it's unpopular?
That's a really good question.
And I think even more important than that, are you open to the possibility that you might be the one who's wrong?
Yeah, that's deep. I have to think about that one. All right, number 5 is lack of education about the ubiquity of propaganda.
So basically, we're all swimming in a sea of misinformation.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, think about it. Every ad, every news article, every social media post, it's all trying to persuade you of something.
Yeah, that's true.
So the question is, are you aware of that?
Right?
Are you questioning your sources?
Hmm.
I'm starting to think I need one of those tinfoil hats.
Maybe not a tinfoil hat,
Okay?
but a healthy amount of skepticism can be a good thing.
True.
You really have to be your own fact checker out there, listener.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 6, and this one's a little bit touchy.
All right, I'm ready.
It says, reliance on cheat days to manage food addiction.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Strong words, right?
Yeah. I know people who swear by their cheat days,
Me too.
but this is saying that's not really addressing the root of the problem.
Interesting. So like it's a Band-Aid solution. Right. Like those cheat days might feel good in the moment, but they could actually be keeping you stuck in this cycle of craving and restriction.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think it's time to ask yourself, is your relationship with food bringing you joy or is it causing you stress?
Ooh, that's good. I'm going to have to journal about that one.
It's a big question.
It is. Okay, this next one kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, let's hear it.
Lusting after leisure.
Okay.
So, I mean, who doesn't love to relax?
We all need downtime.
Right.
But I think this is warning against excessive idleness.
Ah,
Like too much leisure can actually prevent you from reaching your full potential.
okay.
So it's kind of like a muscle. It needs exercise to grow stronger, not constant rest.
That's a good analogy. So it's all about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Working towards something meaningful, but also not burning yourself out.
Absolutely.
Speaking of burning out, this next trait is revering self-destruction and self-destructive icons.
That's a really interesting one.
Isn't it?
Like, why are we so drawn to these people who are living on the edge?
Yeah.
Who seem destined to crash and burn?
Yeah, like there's something about that reckless abandon,
I know, it's fascinating.
but obviously not healthy long-term.
Oh, no. It can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that we don't want to glorify those destructive tendencies.
So listener, who are your heroes?
What qualities do you actually admire?
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 9 on this list is something I think is so prevalent right now.
What is that?
Attachment to a side in ideological debates.
Ooh.
Like everyone's picking a team
Yeah.
and then they just refuse to listen to the other side, like
Mhm.
digging their heels in.
And I think the problem with that is that most complex issues can't be reduced to this us versus them mentality. Like, clinging to those rigid ideologies, it can prevent you from seeing the bigger picture.
So instead of picking a side, it's more about understanding the nuance
Yes.
and being willing to engage with different perspectives.
Yes.
All right, we've reached the final trait,
Okay, what is it?
measuring your worth by the approval of others,
Oof, this one hits home.
doesn't it? Especially in the age of social media.
Totally. But it's so important to remember that your true worth comes from within.
Yeah.
It comes from your values, your actions, your character. You
Yeah.
don't need anyone else to validate your existence.
Wow, we covered so much today.
We did. It was a lot.
It was, but it's not just about recognizing these traits.
Right.
It's about using this knowledge to actually create a more fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
And, maybe by understanding our own struggles with mediocrity, we can have more compassion and understanding for others who are maybe on that same journey.
Yeah.
So, listener, as you go about your week, think about these 10 traits.
Yeah.
Which ones resonate with you? How can you use this knowledge to move beyond mediocrity and create a life that is authentic and meaningful? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.